I'm about to give you my top 3 public speaking tips that have made me millions of dollars. In this video, I'm going to show you what separates good speakers from great speakers, and I'm going to give you my top 3 strategies to make your speeches crush it from stage. And then at the end, I'm actually going to show you how you can do 6 or 7 figures in one day with your speaking. And if you'd like my free speaking workshop, you can click the link in the description to find out more and access that free training. If we haven't met before, my name is Eileen Wilder, and just a few years ago, my husband was Uber driving to support our family. I went on a journey of discovering how to become a better communicator and how to use it to build my business. And what I discovered was I could throw my own event. And when I did my very first event, something crazy happened. I did 6 figures in one day. And that was the day everything in my life changed. I made my husband quit Uber driving, and I discovered that public speaking is the #1 highest paying skill on the internet. So if you want to crush it as a communicator in your presentations and you want to use speaking to grow your business, then listen up. These strategies are crazy pants. Now, before I give you the strategies, here's what you need to know. Speaking is the transference of energy. It's not so much what you're saying, it's how you are saying it. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying." They say 93% of communication is non-verbal. So people are only focusing on 7% of what you're saying. However, most speakers focus so much on their content, but they don't focus at all on the #1 thing, which is their nonverbal communication, which is their energy. If you can focus on your state, your physiology, who you are being, you are going to start impacting your audiences at levels you can't even imagine. So let's dive into my top 3 public speaking strategies. #1, stand in authority. The #1 thing your audience wants from you is to hear from an expert, hear from somebody who's competent. Hear from somebody who's been through something, who knows something, who has some value, and who has some gold to drop. So if you'll stand in a place of authority with the type of energy that says, I know what I'm talking about, I'm the best in the world at what I do, you are going to start to have this type of command energy from the platform and from the stage where the audience will stand at attention and listen. Women, go ahead and lower your register and your tone of voice more into the tone of voice that I'm speaking to you right now. It comes from your chest voice, because studies show that when you go up
higher into the higher head voice registers, it starts to irritate the audience.
So #1, stand in authority when you speak. #2, get engagement from the crowd. Studies have shown that the more an audience participates, the more that they remember what it is that you're teaching. So here's how to do it. When you start your speech, start with a universal question. A universal question is where the answer is always yes. You can do it like this, where you can say, how many of you would like to learn how to make this year even better than last year? Or how many of you are on the journey to becoming the best version of you? Somebody shout yes. You can get the audience to respond to you out loud, or have them type it in the chat if you're speaking virtually. When you get the audience to respond, it's like being in a concert where they know the words to the song. There's this unity, there's this cohesiveness. They're all responding loudly. Yes, and it starts to bring a great energy to the room. My second tip there for creating engagement is ask a lot of questions, ask for a lot of takeaways, give them in the chat, have people stand up or stand to a microphone. What you want is people talking back to you. Sometimes you'll see it. I grew up in the church world where they'll say, turn to your neighbor and say blah, 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 or say this out loud, or say this, or declare this. The more engagement is the more energy flow. There's a back and forth energy flow. So don't be afraid of asking the audience questions. Here is what your audience wants. They want somebody who stands up and will unleash their energy. And they want somebody who can facilitate their energy easily and effortlessly. Don't be shy. Don't back down. Start to create engagement. And #3, start to create desire in your audience. Too often, speakers are getting up and just teaching data, teaching information. In fact, they're going very deep into tactics, which switches the energy in the audience into more of the logical centers of the brain. However, studies have shown that if you keep the audience's brain in more of the emotional parts of the brain, the limbic parts of the brain, that is where they actually buy. So how do you keep the audience more in the emotional side of the brain and not the logic side? You do it like this. You do it through story. So the more stories that you tell, especially the story of how you found your system or how you found your process or how you found your framework or your solution, if you tell that story, desire is going to start to come up in the audience to go deeper with you, to get that solution, to get your help with the steps. So tell the story of your solution by creating more desire in the audience. So now here's my bonus tip. If you'll do these 3 things, you're going to create a lot of energy when you speak. So the best thing to do at that moment is to make an offer. What's an offer? It's like an invitation into a coaching program, a consultancy, your services. It's a way to go deeper with you. If you'll do these 3 tips, there'll be so much buyer's momentum in the audience, they'll 100% want to go deeper. Don't leave the stage without making an offer. This is how you make tons of money as a speaker. If you want to learn how to structure your speeches and how to maximize your sales from your opportunities, go ahead and click the link in the description. I've got a free training and a workshop that'll show you exactly how to do this. Don't forget, use these 3 tips and you are going to begin crushing it as a speaker.